Hola, my name is Minnie. I'm a third-year zoology student of USM. I'm a Johorian who loves Penang food so much. Let me tell you a story before we dive straight into the topic today. Formation of forests can also occur naturally. One tree can pop out through a seed and then create millions of the other trees. Below the canopy, the understory is dominated by shorter plants with broad leaves, followed by the forest floor, which is full of decaying matter. Forest is also a home for all kinds of animal species, including birds, mammals, amphibians, and many more. It provides them space to live, supply them with food to eat, and that's all they need. Well, humans are mammals with overly demanding needs. Poaching brings us short-term fortune. Not just animal, we want woods as well. So we cut down all the trees we can find. Since humans started cutting down forests, 46% of trees have been felled, according to a 2015 study in the journal Nature. And later, all kinds of industry is built above the land. None of a shadow of animal you can spot on this polluted land. In this video, we will be looking into this environmental issue happening at its fastest rate than ever: species extinction. Elizabeth Corbett once pointed out this statement in her book named The Sixth Extinction: An Unnatural History. It is estimated that 1/3 of all reef-building corals, 1/3 of all freshwater mollusks, 1/3 of sharks and rays, 1/4 of all mammals, 1/5 of all reptiles, and 1/6 of all birds are headed toward oblivion. Today, extinctions are occurring hundreds of times faster than they would naturally. If this rate continues without slowing down, we could approach the level of a mass extinction in 240 to 540 years. Let's start off with a quiz to test your knowledge about species under threat. You may pause the video to answer the question. The answer is B, polar bear. In 2008, polar bears were listed as threatened under the U.S. Endangered Species Act, the first animals added because of climate change. Next, we'll get to learn 3 different perspectives about species extinction: species went extinct because of climate change, species at the edge of extinction, and lastly, species that come back from brink of extinct. This is also the first mammal species that recognized extinct due to the climate change, which is known as the Bramble-Cay melomys. Also called the mosaic-tailed rat, the rodent is named after its home on Bramble-Cay. It is an endemic species of the low-lying island called Bramble-Cay, a vegetated coral cay located at the northern tip of the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. The rat were first seen by Europeans on the island in 1845, and there were several hundred there as of 1978. But since 1998, the part of island that sits above high tide has shrunk from 9.8 acres to 6.2 acres. Let's have a wild guess about this question. You may pause this video to answer the question. The answer is 97% of the habitat is lost. The key contributor of this event is due to the rising sea level, which is caused by the global warming effect. As sea levels has risen, storms and high tides started to cause the island to flood, which drowned and swept away the vegetation that the rodents use for food and shelter. This animal has last been seen in 2009 by a fisherman but failed attempts to trap any in late 2014. It was then formally declared extinct by the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) in May 2015 and the Australian government in February 2019. Coming next, we'll be looking at the species at the age of extinction. The first species is also known as the person of the forest, the Sumatran orangutan. The Sumatran orangutan is almost exclusively arboreal, living among the trees of tropical rainforests. Historically, the Sumatran orangutan was distributed over the entire island of Sumatra and further south into Java. The species range is now restricted to the north of the island, with a majority in the provinces of North Sumatra and Aceh. Can you guess why? You may pause the video to answer the quiz. With the hint from previous question, you most probably can get this right. It is because of the high rate of habitat loss in North Sumatra due to the conversion of forests to oil palm plantations and the other agricultural development that brings us profit. Not only do fires destroy vast areas of orangutan habitat, but thousands of these slow-moving apes are thought to have burned into death, unable to escape the flames. The second factor of why Sumatran orangutan population is highly susceptible is because the females give birth to just one infant every 8 or 9 years. Experts estimate that even as little as 1% of females lost each year could put a population on an irreversible impact to extinction. Next, we'll be looking at the polar bear, which is also one of the victims from the climate change. According to NASA, Arctic sea ice has decreased from 6.2 million square kilometers in 2000 to around 4.32 million square kilometers in 2019, with a rate of change of decline 12.85% per decade. Researchers conducted a study in Baffin Island of Canada by tracking the movements of adult female polar bears over 2 periods of time in the 1990s and 2010s. They found out that polar bears are becoming thinner and having fewer cubs, and their declining health was tied to melting sea ice. Between 2009 to 2015, the bears spent an average of 30 more days on land than they had in between 1991 to 1997 period. That's because sea ice is melting at a faster rate and earlier in the season now than it did even 23 to 29 years ago. As the bears stays on the land, they cannot hunt seals and instead rely on fat stores, which causing them to be thinner over time. Lastly, we'll be looking at the species coming back from the age of extinction, which is also known as the national treasure of China, panda. Back in 1980s, there were as few as 1,114 pandas in China because of heavy poaching and habitat loss. But the most recent survey in 2014 estimated total of 2,240 pandas, of which 1,864 pandas living in the wild, a number which has seen their status change from endangered to vulnerable on the IUCN's Red List. This success is due to the hard work of the Chinese government, local communities, nature reserve staff, and WWF over many years in restoring of its habitat by giving back them the space and staple food, which is the bamboo. Bamboos makes up 99% of their diet. Pandas must eat 12 to 38 kilograms worth of bamboo each day to maintain their energy needs. Thank you for watching this video. Oh, hold up. Are you feeling bored because of the COVID-19 pandemic? Well, it seems like a great news for both the environmentalists and the animals. The streets have been quiet and cleaner than ever, as seen in the news. A lot of animals are showing their faces out, wandering around cities to get some fresh air. Puma on the street of Santiago in Chile, sunbathing alligator in South California, coyote walking along street, wild boar families strolling in the city of Spain, fish and ducks swimming in the canals of Venice. Is this virus outbreak a positive or negative thing for humankind? Well, it's very hard to say, but all I'll conclude is that the Mother Earth knows how. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy and get something out of here. Bye!